Hi, mystery readers. I'm Alexandra Amor. This is It's a Mystery Podcast, and I'm here today with Kasia Radzka. Hi, Kasia.
Hi, Alexandra. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's my pleasure. I'm looking forward to talking to you very much. So let's give everyone a little bit of information about you. Kasia Radzka is an author, athlete wannabe, and blogger living with her husband and son on the Gold Coast, Australia. In her lack of spare time, she likes to run marathons, eat fine food, and drink good wine, discover new places, and write action-packed novels. She's currently working on book number 4 in her Lexi Ryder crime thriller series. So that's what we're here to talk about today. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about Lexi?
Okay, Lexi is she's an investigative journalist who likes to get herself into trouble. So trouble seems to follow her around everywhere, and I suppose she likes to get into the way of people who do bad things.
Okay. And was she a character that you, let's say, that you created from some sort of inspiration, or where did she come from?
I guess I was just doing a character brainstorm and coming up with stories, and she actually initially started out a little bit different than what she became. She was meant to be a weak, very weak character who was going to go through some growth progressions. I didn't realise, but then the stories didn't work, so I had to make her a lot tougher and more gutsier, and then the story sort of came alive.
Ah, okay. So how did you figure out that it wasn't working when she was a weaker character?
The plot points just weren't evolving. The story wasn't moving forwards. I was getting stuck in a lot of places, and until I sort of realised that she's not the person who I intended her to be initially, the story sort of started working again, I suppose.
Oh. Yeah, nice. Oh, I like to hear that. So I read the beginning of the first book. You've got 2 books out now, and let's just say in the introduction you mentioned you're working on your 4th book.
Yeah.
Is there a 3rd book out as well?
Yeah, there's 3.
Oh,
There's
okay.
so Lethal Instincts is the first one,
Yep.
Lethal Disposal,
Yep.
and Lethal Aftershock.
Oh, okay.
And now I'm working on Lethal Attraction. So they're all start with lethal something.
Yes.
So, but the first one and the third one are novellas.
Okay.
The second one is a full length one, and number 4 will be full length as well.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So yeah, at the beginning of Lethal Instincts, I noticed Lexi is in London.
Yes.
And I loved the first chapter. You don't have to touch on it if you don't want to, but I just love that it didn't start with her. It made me question. It really, and I love this when books start out this way. It made me wonder what was going on exactly. And then we start into chapter 2, and there's Lexi, and she's at the university. And you say she's an investigative journalist. So
Yes.
is she working at the
A
beginning?
freelance investigative journalist.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And so she freelances, I guess, for various papers in
Yes.
the UK. Yeah.
Globally.
And what's her background? So what brought her to investigative journalism?
She wanted to be the voice for voiceless people, I suppose.
Mm.
So being a journalist gives her the ability to investigate stories that she feels need to be told.
Okay. And is that personally motivated by something in her background?
Well, her was very privileged, I think, and she didn't like that sort of pretense of the privilege that she had, and she wanted to be able to do good rather than take advantage of everything that was handed to her on a silver platter, sort of thing. Obviously, her family don't like that about her,
Right.
So they're completely different. So there's that little bit of conflict there as well. But I think sort of journalism, she went into journalism, but I think she would prefer to be an investigator in a sense. So she likes to get into the investigating of the crimes more than the journalism side of things, which hence the trouble. She likes to get into it. So
Right. Yes, exactly. Yes. And so the first book starts out in London, but then I noticed the second book, Lethal Disposal, is set where you are now in the Gold Coast
Yes.
of Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that where she's from originally?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
It is. Okay. Yeah.
I wanted to write something that was based locally, just to give it a go, and yeah.
Have you lived in London yourself?
No, I've visited.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So I did want to once. I didn't actually end up getting there, but there were plans.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. As
And
most Australians seem to flock towards London.
oh, do they? Oh, I didn't know that
Yeah, a
about
lot of them.
Australia.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
gap year. They love to head down up there. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. And so, what are your favorite parts about writing crime thrillers?
Escape from reality. 'Cause, I mean, we live such ordinary lives, and luckily we live such ordinary lives.
Yeah.
It's nice to escape. So I've always been drawn to the crime side of things, and I've enjoyed reading like criminology stuff, forensics, and then I mean, I'm a huge fan of Patricia Cornwell books from a very young age, and so I've always wanted to write crime thrillers. So yeah.
Oh, good for you. And so, when you're writing,
hmm
what are your favorite types of scenes? Do you have a favorite type of scene to write, or?
Not really. I find dialogue the easiest to write. I don't know if I'm any good at it. That's for the readers to decide. But I find it easy to write dialogue. Yeah, I find it hard to write detailed scenes where showing is violence. So I've got an editor who's helping me overcome that. I think my brain works too fast for me to get it all down on paper, and so it's I rush through them. So I need to learn to slow down.
Got it. Yeah. Oh, nice to have some help with that. Some impartial feedback.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. We can't do it all on our own.
No, absolutely not. And it's funny because dialogue is my least favorite part of writing books, and I love the descriptive part.
Yeah,
It's funny. Everybody has their preferences, right?
that's right.
Yes.
Yes, we're all very different,
Yeah.
but hoping for the same end result.
Exactly. Right. Yes. A good read. Yeah. And what are your writing habits? Do you write every day?
I try to write every day. I work 4 days a week, and I have a 2-hour commute. So my main writing time is during the commute. So I love being on the train. That's when I get my hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon of writing. So the first three books were mostly written on the train.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so it's a commuter train sort of. So you've got a table and you can take
No, just a seat and my laptop on my lap.
And your laptop on your lap.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. And how do you
and then
block
usually
out...
scrunched up trying to write.
I was going to say. How do you block out distractions? Do you have...
I don't feel distracted at all. I get into that mind frame where this is my writing time. If I don't do it now, I can't do it at home. I've got a toddler, he's 2 and very energetic, and my time has to be... I'm very strict with how I use my time. Otherwise it wouldn't get done.
No, exactly. Oh, good for you. Yes. Yeah, because with a toddler at home, I mean, there's just, there's no way.
I try to do some work during the weekend. So I've got Friday, Saturday, Sundays. So if I can find a babysitter, or if he's really good and is happy to play by himself for an hour or 2, then I'll sit in his room and put the laptop on his bookcase and write standing up or edit standing up while he's playing beside me.
Yeah.
So that's,
Oh, fantastic.
working anyway.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So you must, in a way, I mean, the writer in you must kind of look forward to the commute because that's your time.
I do.
Yeah.
For a time, I didn't like it at all, but now I've sort of realised that that's really special writing time. So I value it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, 2 hours a day, that's a good chunk.
Yes. I mean, I'd like to say that every day is 2 hours of solid writing time, but obviously there are days where it's... sometimes I do more editing. Sometimes I'll work on some articles for a blog or something like that. But I try to, quality writing.
Yeah.
I have good intentions.
That's awesome. And so the 4th book that's coming out, is that also set in Australia?
Yes, it is.
So is she kind of based there now, where you are?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So book 1 sort of finishes her in... and it sort of leads her to her home, so hometown of the Gold Coast, and then it sort of explains bits and pieces as to why she's gone to London, why she's come back, and
Yeah. Oh, great. And what would you say Lexi's character flaws are?
she's stubborn.
Okay.
So that would be her major one.
Yeah.
and she doesn't. She probably should listen to people who mean well and want the best for her, but she likes to do her own thing. So, and that can get her into trouble. Like I said, she follows trouble, so that would be her biggest flaw.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, what would you say her character strengths are?
Strengths. She's fearless.
Mm.
So I think, obviously she has that internal fear that, and we all do, but she works to overcome it and take risks, not always calculated, not always in her favour, but yeah, I think that's a strength. I suppose it could be a strength and a weakness, but depends on which way you look at it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. And of the 4 books, do you personally have a favorite, one that was, say, more interesting for you to write, or?
I'm actually really enjoying this one, the 4th one.
The current one.
Yeah. The first one was great. It was nice and short. It took me maybe 3 weeks to 4 weeks to write, and then another. So it was nice, quick. I had that instant gratification almost, I suppose. But I'm really enjoying this one. So I'm enjoying the story, and I'm trying to wrap up some questions that arose in the previous books and tie some loose ends, and yeah. So she's really, I think, growing in this book and evolving to something that I didn't expect her to evolve to. So I hope to be able to show that in the story. But I won't get into it though.
No, leave it as a surprise. But that's really great when a character can take you somewhere that you weren't expecting at all.
Mm. It's one of the things I love about writing. You start with a kernel of an idea, and you get to something completely different. And sometimes it surprises you in good ways, sometimes it surprises you in not so good ways. But yeah, we work with what we have.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. And do you tend to outline quite closely, or do you sort of wing it?
I do a bit of both.
Mm.
With when I wrote the first book, I actually wrote the second book first.
Oh, okay.
So that one took me the longest, and that was sort of without an outline. It was trial and error. And then with the Lethal Instincts, I outlined it I was having a coffee at a cafe, and an idea popped in my mind and just started outlining scenes. And I had an outline for a novel within sort of a couple of hours, and I started writing, and that was great. So it's I still change things a little bit, so I'm not strict to the outline, but I like to do a bit of both. I think it depends on the story as well.
Mm-hmm.
So each book is individual. So sometimes outlines work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes I do an outline in the middle of the book. There's no real strict, this is how it's going to get done.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And so how long does it take you roughly to write a full-length novel?
It depends. Lethal Disposal took about 2 years.
Mm.
I've had a few, like I said, the novella took about a month.
Yeah.
So it just depends on how fast I'm writing. The Lethal Attraction, I wrote the draft in about 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's taking me a lot longer to rewrite it because I want to make it better than the other ones. I hope it can continuously improve with each book. So
yes.
And I don't want to write the same book over and over again. So yes, but I think 2 to 3 months is a fair time frame to write, and then a month or 2 to edit.
Yes, yeah, lots of revision. Yeah, I always say that after the first draft, it's not a book really. It's just a draft.
That's right,
or
skeleton.
A ball of clay, I say, and then from there you can turn it into a book.
That's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then, do you have any interest? Would you ever start another series or write a different type of book?
I do. I actually have an idea for 2 series. Mm-hmm. So I've got another one that's more of a sort of international spy type thing. That I love spy books. I love espionage, that sort of thing. So I've got an idea for a character, and I'm working on it. It's percolating in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
And I've got another idea for a sort of maybe a fantasy crime book as well. So maybe edging on the paranormal. But we'll see how that goes. There's things popping up all the time, so I've got to make notes and I've got too many ideas and not enough time.
Yes, yeah.
And there's a couple of non-fiction type things I want to work on as well. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
People, I so often hear writers say they have more ideas than time. And it's interesting because so often the perception of writers is that creativity is kind of limited, that, that somehow we could run out of ideas. And in my personal experience, I've actually found the opposite, that the more I write and the more I create, the more ideas there are.
Yeah, completely agree with you.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm not alone in that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's a creativity boosts creativity sort of thing. So that's, if you force the muse to show up, they don't have a choice.
That's right. Yes, exactly. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. Yeah. And one thing I noticed, what I'm doing right now is alternating between series. So one is a contemporary mystery, one is historical. So I'll be writing one type, and I can feel just sort of in the back of my head, my brain will be working on or thinking about stuff for the other series. And then when I switch, the opposite happens. I'm really focused on this book, and over here my brain is kind of working away on that stuff. So I totally get it when you talk about having to jot down notes for the other stories.
Do you ever have to force yourself to not move to the other series that you're not meant to be working on?
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. It would be really easy, they call that shiny object syndrome, to think, this will be great, I just wander away. So I really make myself stick and finish, and then I'm allowed to move. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. I've been actually struggling with that the last few months. I'm like, no, it's I've got to keep to the schedule. Yeah. And otherwise it'll just get all mixed up and nothing will get finished. It's so easy to start things and not finish them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast the other day with Joanna Penn, and she was talking about, it was her new book, Successful Author Mindset, and how she
great book.
Sorry?
Great book.
Oh,
just
fantastic.
Yesterday.
Yes, yeah. And how she was sitting down with an author friend who said he had 15 books, and she's like, wow, 15 books. And then he finally said, well, none of them are finished. So
it gets to that.
It does. It would be so easy to do that. So
I've gone through my my Word files and I've found maybe 4 or 5 unfinished books. But this is a good thing now, since I've learned to finish things, that there are ideas for some further standalone books in the future, should I have a bit more time on my hands.
Exactly, right. When your son's a little older.
Yes, maybe. That's right.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Well, this has been awesome, Kasia. Thank you so much for talking to me today. So why don't you let everyone know where they can find you and more about your books?
Okay, well, I have a website and a blog. I write about stuff for authors, freelancers and bloggers at www.kasiaradzka.com. So that's KasiaRadzka. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Pinterest. So Facebook and Twitter is at Kasia J. Radzka. That's Facebook and Twitter. And Pinterest and Instagram, I actually have no idea. I'm on there, but I'm not that active on it. So I think still learning. There's still so much to learn.
Oh, it's such a learning curve. Yeah,
exactly. But Facebook and Twitter are the main ones. And I'm available on email as well at kasiajradzka@gmail.com. So so thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And your books are at on all the...
Oh, that's right, my books. Oh, that's why we're here. My books are available on Amazon at the moment. In the next month, so I'm looking at putting them on Kobo and iBooks as well. But at the moment, it's just on Amazon.com, Amazon.com.au, UK, all the Amazon sites.
Yes. Okay.
So they're available. And if you sign up for my email list, you can get book 2, Legal Disposable, free on Kindle or EPUB.
Wow. Okay. Okay, that's good to know. So I'll put a note in the show notes about that.
Yes.
And a link.
There's also, if you buy the first book, at the back of it, there's a link in that. So
as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you again so much, and I hope things warm up for you a little bit there.
Yes, let's hope so. Thank you so much, Alexandra. It's lovely chatting to you.
You too. Take care.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.